But yeah. uh, oh, that's completely thrown me off.
Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. It's me and James today, so this video is bound to do well. No offense to Benji, but there we go. That's just how it works. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today because lots been going on since the last video. Benji and James were on holiday over the last few days, so we weren't able to do a quick reaction to the England-South Africa test match, which seems like a long time ago, but it's still amazing to think of because England seemed to do to South Africa what South Africa did to England. Thoughts?
It was perfect revenge, I think. I think South Africa got a bit too big for their boots because after beating England so comprehensively by making England bat first, South Africa then won the toss, and they thought, you know what, we're South Africa, and Bazball means nothing now, and they put England into bowl first, which I think England would have chosen to do. I think that's what England will choose to do every time they win a toss, pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless they go and it's literally a tarmacked field with some stumps either end. I genuinely think they're going to bowl every single time because, we use the word Bazball, positivity. It's about full lengths. It's about taking wickets. And when you've got an attack that includes Jimmy Anderson, Ollie Robinson, Stuart Broad, Ben Stokes, and the greatest spinner of all time, Jack Leach, you're bound to skittle a team, I think, in English conditions. And It was an overcast day, and Jimmy Anderson was hooping it. And Ollie Robinson, it's good to see him back because he is very, very good. Like, I think when he first came onto the scene, we were looking at him and being like, "Oh, hello, this is the kind of the Anderson Broad protege. He's the next in line to being the swing king," and he's done very well, and he's shown why he deserves that spot. And I think he's had to work really hard to get back in the squad. I think Stokes was very clear in saying, "Look, you got to get your fitness up. You need to sort out your issues. You need to earn your place here." And I think showing Robinson that he was expendable, that we do just have this wealth of talent in bowlers at the moment, is going to bring out the best in him. And as far as that first innings went, getting South Africa all out for 151, it was a great start. What did you think of England's batting?
I was impressed with England's batting. I think the way I see Bazball is that they're playing a more reactive style of cricket. And what I mean by that is they don't have months of planning where they did with Chris Silverwood, where we're going to bat first, we're going to score big runs in the first innings. It doesn't matter how long we bat for, we're going to score the big runs. Then we're going to bowl a team out twice. That's having that plan. Yes, it might sound really good, but in practice, does it work? Because what we saw with Silverwood and Root was bad tactical decisions. Whereas Stokes and McCullum, they haven't made that many. They have made some, but that's just natural, isn't it? And I thought with the batting, what they said was we need to respond to the bowler-friendly conditions and acknowledge that it's not going to be the sort of pitch where we can smack 400 off 6 and over, because they scored 400 off 3.89, which is relatively conservative given England's recent run rates. Zach Crawley, for example, ended day one on 17 off 73 balls, which when you think about the mold of player that Zach Crawley is, that attacking opener, that didn't happen. Ben Stokes scored quite a measured 50 and then went on to score a very good 100 and accelerated at the end of his innings rather than doing what we've seen all summer, which is dance down the wicket and tonk it to mid-off or something like that. So it was a different style of cricket that we saw, and it suited the conditions and it got England into a winning position. Ben Stokes, though, although Ben Stokes was great to watch, Ben Stokes, I enjoyed watching him bat because he's such a reliable wicketkeeper batsman to come in at number 7. I think he's deserved his spot, and yeah, he'll be in the team for a while now after scoring that century, which is great. Going back to the bowling then, and I have a question for you. Do you think it was? Well, why do you think that Ollie Robinson opened the bowling instead of Stuart Broad? What do you think is like the thought process behind that?
I don't know. It was something that intrigued me, but it worked, and I actually really enjoyed seeing Stuart Broad as first change, or even was he like third change in the second innings?
Something like that,
for the I think for the first time in his career since like 2007 or something, he'd been the 5th bowler used. Joe Root came on before him in the second innings, and I like it because Stuart Broad is an emotion player. He is such he can really carry momentum through, a bit like Stokes when he bowls. Freddie Flintoff, these players of just they can really drive a game forward. And yeah, Broad can really just from out of nowhere take 7 wickets in a row when he just gets in that mood.
Yeah.
And I think just having that ace up your sleeve is really quite exciting. And Ollie Robinson is very good at swinging the ball. He's got very good control.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I'd have ever said before this test match, oh yeah, definitely don't open with Stuart Broad, open with Ollie Robinson instead. But now that I've seen it, I quite like it. But again, I'm not 100% sure how I feel. But no, raw gut reaction is, yeah, seems like a good idea.
I think it relates to what I said about England kind of reacting now to the situation. I think there was a stat that was said that before the last test that happened, Ollie Robinson's deliveries, 82% of them hit the top of off stump or there and thereabouts, which is ridiculous, which shows how accurate he is. And you kind of want that bowler opening the ball. And it's like Glenn McGrath, that Vernon Philander, that sort of line of length gets you wickets as an opening bowler. So maybe it's England seeing that sort of information and going, you know what, we need that as our opening bowler. And I guess it's picking the right team for the best team for the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just picking the team that's always done it or yeah. So I think it's smart, which is good. And England have picked an unchanged squad for the 3rd test, which is taking place in a week's time. I believe it's actually next Wednesday, which is a week today for us. So we're looking forward to that one.
It's Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday. Yes. Well, there we go. Is it? It must be the 7th then. 7th of September. 8th. The 8th. So I can't get my dates right for this test.
But yeah, no, I am excited for that one because obviously it's a decider. There was a very one-sided match, the first one, very one-sided the second one. So I think England could take the momentum forward with them, but equally, I think a lot could actually lie on the toss. I think just both of the attacks are so good.
Yeah.
And it's almost guaranteed that South Africa are going to bring back Jansen, because that's probably the last thing I want to talk about with this this latest test, was how good Jansen was in the first test. Like he adds that final element to the South Africa attack that kind of makes them such a daunting opposition. You think about how good Australia have been recently, because they've got Cam Green, who's 7'12", and he can bat a bit as well. That is, I mean, he's a batting all rounder, really. Marco Jansen is definitely a bowling all rounder, but he's also 12'9", and he gets that awkward bounce, which some of the other players might not get. Like Anrik Nortje is just express pace. Rabada is just amazing. Ngidi has shown himself to be quite tricksy. He can get a lot of seam movement, all that sort of stuff. So Jansen
control, doesn't he?
Yeah, Jansen then is from that great height, which seems to get Root out all the time. And I just think having Simon Harmer and Maharaj, who basically, yes, they'll give you relatively tight overs, but that's not what it's about anymore.
No.
And you know what? I could see Bazball. I mean, I could see the Chris Silverwood era doing that, thinking, oh, well, we'll just hold up both ends. But actually, that's not how you're going to win. You need to take 20 wickets.
No.
And I think Janssen is the final string to the bow. So I think that could potentially swing things into, well, I think it's 50-50 for my money.
I think they do need to pick Janssen if they're going with 5 bowlers, because otherwise that batting attack was a batter light. For South Africa, they needed another batter in that lineup. And I know Marco Jansen isn't an out-and-out batsman. He's a bowling all-rounder, as you've said, but he is a good batsman, and he's young as well, so his batting will get better. I still think it's risky. I still think they are a batter light, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to change it. I think they'll still go with the 6-5 approach that they've gone with so far, with wicketkeeper coming in at number 6. Right then, so that is Bazball, or England versus South Africa, as we should say. There are a few other things. So Ben Stokes documentary, that's just come out. Did you enjoy it?
I did, actually. I thought it was really interesting. It provided quite a good insight into how difficult bubble life's been for all cricketers, and also just Ben Stokes himself. I think one kind of pick from all of it was, I didn't realize how significant or how much of a length and an elongated impact the whole Bristol thing had on him.
Yeah.
Like having that saga drawn out for so long, that really took it out of him. So it's just, I think it offers quite a cool insight into, obviously, who is the England captain. And as England fans, we like to see that. We like to see our talisman. But also just all different cricketers, they'll all have like these stories of, obviously cricket is an intense sport, and it's a very emotive one, because you have all this downtime to think about it, and it's all about building your legacy as well. Like we can look back and say, oh, who's the greatest all-rounder of all time? Gary Sobers. Why? You look at his average, and you look at all these stats and stuff. You're constantly building your legacy throughout your career. It's one of the beautiful things about cricket. But also, you forget about all the things that happened around their lives. Like, what about Gary Sober's home life? What about, family relatives that will have died and things like that, that while he was playing, he had to cope with all of those things. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. And it's something that kind of brought it to the fore for me. What was your opinion on the whole documentary?
Well, I was actually watching the documentary whilst watching Ben Stokes bat in the test match and scoring a century. So on the day that came out, he played a really good, the best performance he's had as captain for England. We haven't actually talked about his performance with the ball, which was also very good. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting seeing the mental health aspect that someone who's obviously can appear as very mentally tough. In the past, he would have got away with that. Well, not got away with it, but people wouldn't have known that there was so much going on inside, or they would have said you need to just toughen up. You're a tough man. You're not going to be affected by this. Whereas it shows that it affects everyone. Everyone's equal, as vulnerable as anyone with these things. And I think, he definitely has had his struggles, and he's come out of it probably a better person, a stronger person, and he's still going through it. He's still going through those mental battles, but he's got the people around him. He wants to play cricket, and I think it was a really good showing that everyone is susceptible to these things, and he's got this inner fight within him to kind of say, no, I've got people around me. I can get through this, and I think that's the positive message that comes throughout it, really. But I really enjoyed it. I would rate it an 8 out of 10.
That's a good rating. I'll give it an A-.
Oh, okay.
Different rating systems.
Yeah.
So from one talismanic fast bowling all rounder to another, Virat Kohli in the Asia Cup.
You could have built that up more.
I know,
Could have
yeah.
built it up to thinking about like Hardik Pandya or something, but no.
Yeah, no. Virat Kohli bowling in the Asia Cup against Hong Kong. I like it. I like Virat Kohli, the bowler. I think it's he somehow takes some wickets. He's taken. I'm sure he's got Kevin Peterson out. He's got like Samit Patel out. So he's an all right arm medium slow bowler. I think in his under 19 like bio thing before the World Cup, he referred to himself as a fast bowler, which I'm sure people like Bummer and Shami will tease him for nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kohli bowling said to me that India needs more all-rounders to like in their squad currently, because there is no way that Kohli should be bowling.
Well, they didn't play Hardik Pandya, and I don't know if that was a bit of arrogance from India, thinking we're playing Hong Kong, Hardik Pandya can have a rest. But he is the Ben Stokes of India, Hardik Pandya. He is probably the best 2020 player in the world right now, because he's not going for any runs with the ball and he's winning games with the bat, able to maintain a high strike rate without getting out. And that's what you want from your batsman. And to not go for any runs and get loads of wickets is what you want from your bowler. And he's a gun fielder as well. He doesn't really drop many. James's light has gone out.
Right, I'm in the dark, but we do have a Cricket Nerds question. Which is from our most loyal subscriber, PD.
Nice.
Who says, and I think you're going to be the man to answer this. This is because this is a general man management question. Suppose you are playing county championships and you are the captain. A young 18-year-old fast bowler, this is talking 140 plus kilometers an hour, debuts for your team. Your final bowling lineup consists of a 30-year-old fast bowler who is the same kind of speeds, 2 medium fast bowlers in their late 20s, and a 35-year-old spinner. I hope you're following all this.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping in mind, if the young fast bowler performs well in the domestic seasons, he might get recognised in the senior national team. That means you, as a captain, who's not/never getting selected for the senior team, have to take care of a future national fast bowler's fitness and longevity. But at the same time, because you have no hopes for the national team, you want to win every county championship match you can. So how do you use your young fast bowler right from match one?
That is a big question, because in my opinion, which a lot of people would disagree with, the counties should be preparing cricketers for international cricket. That should be there. And there should be some form of benefit for counties producing international cricketers, because that's where the international cricketers come from. You rarely hear of any international cricketers who haven't played some form of county cricket before. So I think you've got to manage that. But at the same time, if you want them to be playing for your county as well, then that's about the fitness, isn't it? And making sure they're looking after themselves. I'm sure if the international team has got their eye on them, then they'll probably get some form of central contract or be played for the Lions, and they'll have special requirements anyway. But yeah, I think what PD is getting at is this culture within county cricket, which is like Notts, for example, have been doing it for years, where they've been producing top quality or buying top quality county players who aren't quite good enough to get into the national team. They're kind of that edge player who might not be able to get in because they're either not good enough or not fit enough. And yet they perform week in, week out for the counties, which does them well. So yeah, it's an interesting argument. So thank you very much for your question, PD. I think there isn't a straightforward answer other than make sure he manages his fitness.
Yeah, I personally think that the way it should be run is if a player gets called up to the England side from a county, the ECB should pay that county championship side a healthy sum of money as like a reward for producing a national treasure. Because I think that then you've got a bit of an incentive, because you can then invest that into your team and the whole
or a
infrastructure.
percentage of the fees goes to the county, something like that. I don't
I think that'd be good. But anyway, I'm in the middle of, I'm just in the dark right now, so I think it's a good place to end. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We will be back again soon. You can follow our social medias. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. And other than that, there's not much else we need to say. So goodbye.
See you later.